So Friday we started loop control structure, right? So there are while loop, for loop, basic terminology, increment and decrement operator, do while. This much we have covered so far. We haven't gone for the nesting of loops. We will take it today, right? It's just a quick review of whatever we have learned. So there is a while loop. Uh, each loop has got three parts: initialization, condition, and increment or decrement. Similarly, as far as for loop is concerned, uh, one more thing, you should not put the semicolon after this while condition. Same for the for loop, but initialization, condition, and increment are written together inside the pair of brackets followed by the following the for keyword, and this is a uh, body of the for loop, right? Then there is an increment and decrement operator. So plus plus and minus minus are unary operators. When they are part of expression, its behavior is different. I showed you. This kind. There is another way to increment any variable that we call as a compound operator. So plus equal to, minus equal to, and like that. Uh, we need these kind of expressions while writing any C program, right? There is a do while operator. We have seen this as well, where condition is written at the end of the body of the loop. There is a difference between while loop and do while loop. Today we will see this, and then we will go to the break statement, right? So let me check whether that program is already there. I hope you are able to see that. So mm, we will try to see the difference between, extremely sorry, difference between while loop and do while loop. I forgot to share the screen again. So is one variable is declared int I. I have initialized that, and this is a very simple program. We're trying to understand the difference between while and do while. Sometimes we need these kind of loops. Now, when I write while I is less than or equal to 3 uh, as a part of condition, we know that this loop will be executed 3 times, right? So if I run this code, it will print hello 3 times, right? Now, put the slash in here so that output is visible clearly. Output is 3 times hello will be printed. Now, suppose this contains 5. I contains 5. Try to understand the logic behind this difference between while and do while loop. So if I run this code, this program will be executed, but no output will be there. Why? Because the control doesn't go at all inside the while loop, because initial value of I is 5, and during the first pass the condition is failed. So there is no question of going inside, no incrementing I and this that. Nothing happens here. But suppose I write, instead of while, I write do while loop. I write do and while here. Right? Same. Nothing is changed. Instead of while, just I am writing do while. Right? And as I told you, in case of do while loop, there must be a semicolon at the end. Right? You don't forget this. This is very important. Now, when I run this code, it will print hello, right? First of all, everything is same, but it will print hello. Why this happens? The basic difference between while and do while is that in case of while, the condition is tested at the beginning of the block, whereas in case of do while, the condition is tested at the end of the block, right? That's why the do while loop is a kind of a loop which is executed at least once. At least once is going to be executed. If it is one, I is initialized to one, then it is going to be executed three times. I mean, there is no problem at all, right? But sometimes, sometimes I will show that in your program. I will show this where to use this do while loop and like that. So here, since even though I contains 5, since condition is not tested at the beginning, the control will go inside, then I is incremented, I becomes 6. And this is since 6 is not less than 3, less than or equal to 3, actually it is greater than 3. So condition becomes false and loop is terminated. So when user wants any loop to be executed at least once, many times this happens. So in such cases, do while loop is used. That is the only difference in do while and while loop. So this is about the while and do while loop. Break is basically a keyword in C. If you have learned C, then you must have heard this. What does this break do? It takes the control outside the loop in which it is written. So whenever break is written inside loop, the control is taken outside the loop. So rest of the iterations are not executed. So suppose if you are executing particular loop for suppose 100 times, and if you put some condition, so it will when that condition becomes false, the control will be immediately go to the next statement after the loop, right? Now this break statement is usually associated with if condition. Why actually I'm using this word usually? You will understand meaning of this in the next chapter, right? But as far as loops are concerned, inside loop, whenever you write break, there must be if condition. So if particular condition is satisfied, then execute the break. That is how you should write. So what I mean the rest of the iterations would be cancelled. Again the same loop here. So this loop will be executed 10 times. I have written 10 as a I less than or equal to 10 as a condition part. So if I run this code, this will be executed 10 times, right? Now, if I write here in anywhere, if I write if I is equal to suppose 3, right? Break. Now what will happen initially when control goes here, it will print hello. Now let's instead of running this executing this program directly, we will manually try to see how the control moves inside the loop. So it will print hello, value of I becomes 2 now. Whether I is equal to 2, no. So this statement is not going to be executed. I haven't put any uh, braces around if condition, right? So that's why this single statement is associated with this if condition, and then control goes here. What is the value of I here? 2. Whether 2 is less than or equal to 10? If condition is true, so it will go here. So it will print hello second time. Now here value of I becomes 3. Now here condition becomes true, right? And this break will be executed, and this break will take control outside the while loop. So if I write here a simple printf statement, okay, right outside the loop. So if I execute this program now, it will hello will be printed only 2 times. One last message actually shows you that control goes next statement after the last statement shows you that control goes next statement after the loop. That's why I have put the one printf statement outside the loop. This is how actually we try to uh, explore what happens inside the program. Now, in which cases this is used, that is okay. We will see it when we write programs. But this is how the program is executed. As a matter of fact, we will write one program where we understand the importance of break statement. This is a basically typical program to explain the break statement in programming, any programming language, whether it is C or C++. Why? Why? Because you understand the importance. As far as this program is concerned, you may not understand the importance of break. You understood only the concept of break, how break is executed. You understood that. But importance, we will see. We will write one program. Now, uh, what is the program? Program is to find whether a particular number entered by the user, particular integer number entered by the user is a prime or not. Now, what is the definition of prime number in mathematics? The number which is divisible by that number only, which we call it is the prime number in mathematics. So 3 is a prime number. Why? Because it is not divisible by 2. Right? 5 is a prime number. Why? Because it is not divisible by 2, 3, and 4. 5 is divisible by only 5. Okay, all numbers are divisible by 1. That is different story. So number which is divisible by 1 and that number we call them as a prime number. Right? So 3 is a prime number. 4 is not prime number. Why? Because 4 is divisible by 2. 5 is prime number. 7 is a prime number. 11 is a prime number. So there are prime numbers, right? So first of all, we have to put the logic first on the paper. As far as beginners are concerned, they need to work on the paper first. They need to put the algorithm on the paper. Since we have done a lot of programming, our algorithm and logic is inside our mind. So you try to think the way I am actually talking. There is one input, there is one integer number. It is going to be entered by the user, right? We want to check whether the number is divisible from numbers 2 onwards, because every number is divisible by 1. So suppose there is a number called num. So I will declare that variable as a number. Right? I'm going to take input from the user. So I'll write printer enter number. Right? Right? Sorry. taken input. Now see how inside our mind we come to the conclusion whether a particular number is not divisible by any number. So suppose I take 23. 23. So to come to the conclusion whether 23 is a prime number or not, we start dividing it by 2. Now, since we are human being, um, we have got shortcuts as well as long cuts, right? If I tell you a very big number, 17831, it may not be possible for you to tell immediately whether that is a prime number or not. There actually computers comes into the picture. So we are going to write a generic program which will work for any number, any number. So suppose 23. So we will start dividing by 2. So we will divide by 2. 23 divided by 2. So how we check whether number is divided or not? By taking the modulus operator, right? Because when number is divided, the remainder is 0, right? Remainder is 0. So 23 divided by 2, remainder is 1. So 23 is not divided by 2, or rather divisible by 2. 23 divided by 3, right? So 3 sevens are 21, 3 eighths are 24. So 23 divided by 3, remainder is 2. So likewise, this is now a loop because you are repeating. 23 will be divided by 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. So up to which number you will go on dividing till 22, because then only we can say that if 23 is not divisible by 2, from 2 to 22, we can declare that 23 is a prime number. Take another number, 25. 25. 25 is divided by 2. No, it is not divisible. 25 divisible by 3. No. 4. No. 5. Yes. 25 is divisible by 5. So you will declare at that moment that 25 is not a prime number. But as per our logic, now there is no need to check whether 25 is divisible by 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, up to 24. Not necessary. So loop will be run up to that number. But once we are confirmed that number is divisible by any number less than that, then we need to stop, because there is no point in checking whether that once the number we come to know that number is not prime, there is no point in checking that whether this particular number is not prime. Likewise, 25 once divided by 5, then we are confirmed there is no point dividing that number till 24. So how we can put that logic? There would be a loop, right? Just check here. Int I, one variable I will declare. I'll write. You can write any loop. I'll write initialization we have already done. So while number mod, right? I, while number, check, while I less than or equal to, up to which number we want to divide that? One less than. So number minus 1, right? So this many times we need to go on dividing that number. So inside this I will write if number mod I, right, equal to 0, that means whether it is divided, then we can write printf number is not prime, and here we will put the break, right, and here I will write I is equal to I plus 1. So suppose you enter 4 here, 4, right, and we will take the 5. I will write here printf number is prime. First of all, we will run this code. Test, just test how it works. So if I enter 25, it says number is prime. Whether 25 is prime? No. I will enter again. I will enter number 5. It says number is prime. But 5 is prime. That is true. But 25 is not prime. Let's check a few more numbers. Enter number 7. The answer is correct. Let's enter 30. 30 is saying number is prime. Let's enter 6. This saying number is prime. So some mistake is there. Some logic is wrong. Right? So let's check. I'm trying to develop program along with you. I do not know the source code. I do not recite any code. I'm intentionally taking this program so that you need to understand along with me how to develop the code. So while I is less than or equal to number minus 1, so it's suppose number is 5, so 5 will be stored in the number. What is I? Okay. Now what is the biggest mistake here? Just observe this code and tell me what is wrong along with this code. We haven't done initialization, right? No, I will write this code. Let's compile this. 5. Number is prime. 8. Number is not prime and number is prime. So it is now giving two outputs. It is saying number is not prime and number is prime. So we are reaching bit close to the correct source code, correct output. Bit, because earlier it was giving each number as a prime. Now at least it is partially true. 5 it is saying as a prime number, which is true. But if I enter suppose number as suppose 12, it's saying number is not prime and is prime. So let's check here. We will start dividing by 2 because there is no point in dividing by 1, right, as per the definition of prime. So number here when it is 5, I will has to be loop has to be executed till 4. Will be executed till 4. Number minus 1, that is 4 here. So whether I is less than or equal to 4, yes, it is true. 2 is, so number, what is 5? 5 mod 2, the the 5 mod 2 is not 0. So this whole will not be executed. The condition, the control goes here. What is the value of I then? Value of I will be 3. Condition will be tested. 3 is less than or equal to 4. Yes, it is true. So it will go inside. 3 mod number, it is a 5. 5 mod 3. Condition false. I becomes 4. I is 4. Less than or equal to 4. Condition is true. 4 mod 2. 5 mod 2. 5 mod 4. I is a 4. 5 mod 4. Condition is false. Here value of I becomes 5. Whether I is less than or equal to 5 is less than or equal to 4, no, condition is false. The control loop is terminated and the control reaches here. So we are sure that number is prime, right? Now this loop gives problem when number is divisible by certain number. So when suppose number is, this number is suppose 4, the loop will be executed till what? 3, right? Now what is happening when particular number is declared as a prime, the control goes outside the loop. So this statement must be executed only when only when we have to put the condition, only when this is not, this is executed, right? So if I write here condition as, if I equal to number, so when I run this code now, if I enter 5, it gives number is prime. If I enter suppose, what should I enter? Suppose I enter, suppose I enter 25, right? It says number is not prime. So how it is executed now? It will go on dividing by 2, 3, 4. When the value of I is 5 and number is 25, 25 mod 5, the result is 0, right? So this is executed. This is executed and we need to stop the division. Break statement will be executed and control goes outside the, earlier since there was a single statement, it was giving output as number is prime. Now here we have put the condition as if I is equal to number. At present number is 25, but what is the value of I? That is 5, and that's why this statement won't be executed. You will get the correct output. Now, crux of the story is the importance of break statement here. So, if you enter, suppose 5,000 here, right? 5,000. Now, 5,000 is not prime, that we know because it is divisible by 2. It is divisible by 2. But what is the point when we know that 5,000 is divisible by 2? There is no point at all whether it is divisible by 3, 4, 5, up to 4,999, right? So that is, I mean, these many iterations can be, because there is no point in iterating through the loop till that number. So this is basically the use of break statement. Again, I will explain this. Basically, basically the crux of this story is this statement. Okay, this condition you need to identify, which is a important statement in the whole program. This is not a big deal at all because we are putting our logic. That's all. What is basically the definition of prime number? A number is prime when it is not divisible by any number between 2 and rather prime number is defined as a number which is divisible by only that number. 27, take 27. 27 is number which is divisible by 3 as well as 9, right? 49. 49 is divisible by what? Divisible by 2? No. 3? 49? No. 4? No. 5? No. 6? No. 7? No. No. 7. 49 by 7. 7 sevens are 49. Right? So once we know how we started that procedure, whether 49 is divisible by uh, whether 49 is a prime or not, we start dividing by 2, 3, 4, 5. And when we come to know that it is divisible by 7, we stop that process. 7 sevens are 49. But when we take suppose 47, right? Let's check whether 47 is a prime number. Number is prime. Now, how manually we will do that 47? We have to try to check whether that number is divisible by numbers between 2 and 46. Then only we can decide that number is a prime or not, right? So to check any number whether it is a prime or not, we have to check whether it is divisible only by that number. How we can check whether that number, a particular number is divisible by that number? Only when we check that number is not divisible by all numbers between 2 and one number less than that number. अगर 47 प्राइम नंबर है या नहीं है वो देखने के लिए हमें 2 से स्टार्ट करके 46 तक डिवाइड करना पड़ेगा. 2 से भी नहीं जाता है, 3 से भी नहीं जाता है, 4 से भी नहीं जाता है, 5 से भी जाता है, नहीं जाता है. कहाँ तक? 46 तक. तो हम कह सकते हैं, we can say that number is prime. Then only. That is the reason we have run that program from 2 onwards. That's why we have initialized to 2. And what is the ending condition? What is the terminating condition? Till what number? Till number minus 1. Right? Till that number you need to execute that loop. And this condition is a very common condition. If particular number is divisible by that any number 2 onwards, at whichever stage this number is divided, we can say that number is not prime and stop that process now. Stop dividing that number there onwards. No point in dividing. Right? In case of 49, as soon as number is we find that number is divided by can be divided by 7, then there is no point going after that 8, 9, 10 like that. So that actually break is here. Now when you enter 49 and when 49 divided by that 7 is the remainder is 0, condition is true, it prints number is not prime, right? And when break statement is executed, the control comes here. Now the number is 49. What is the value of I here? Value of I is there 7. And 7 is not 49. That's why this statement we can uh, avoid that to be executed, because we have to write a generic program which should be executed for all numbers, not a particular number. But what happens when it is 5? When it is 5, this loop will be executed for all numbers between 2 and 5. When I is a 5, the condition is false. So we have reached at the last number, and that's why here this condition is important, and it gives the output as number is prime. To understand this program, see, within a matter of 1 hour, you may not be able to understand that program, this program, because no, um, it takes a while to understand the logic behind this. I have taken, or any program, it takes a lot of time. So don't worry. Again and again, try to understand this program on your own, right? And I'm quite sure you will understand that. Just a matter of time. You need to give some time to yourself. There is a another program uh, in your assignments, and we will modify this same program to find a series of prime numbers, right? Series of prime numbers, like this number is limited to user will enter a particular number uh, certain times. Okay, if I enter one number, it will say output, again I will enter number. What if program is like find all prime numbers till 100, or print first 50 prime numbers? This kind of programs are going to be there in C language. Okay, so in that case, again, this logic is going to help you. Same logic will be there to find the number prime or not. But that time you are going to print those prime numbers, right? So this will be part of your assignment, and you are going to solve it. I am going to help you in that case, which is a continuous statement, right? This is also one of the interesting statement in loop control structure. Again, it is as the word says, basically, word itself is continue, don't stop. This takes the control to the next iteration in which it is written, right? And like if like break statement, this also always associated with if condition. uh, will explain you. As far as this problem is concerned, don't worry. Okay, these kind of difficult programs will now increase in the future. Okay, so get ready. uh, but look at me, I was like you also. Okay, so don't worry. uh, I will write a simple program here. Suppose if I try to write, suppose 50, if I mod 5 not equal to 0, right? Continue. Right here, printf %d /n and I. Right. Now, if I run this code, it will print the earlier where we started, a multiplication table of 5 to 50. No, this is just a weird way of no printing the multiplication table of 5. It is a weird way. This is a silly program. But here, this is how continuous statement will be executed. How I is 1, right? Now I mod 5. What I am telling that whenever that divisible that this number counter is divisible by 5 is not divisible by 5, continue that, don't execute this statement. So this statement, rest part of the loop, will be executed only when this condition is false, right? So whenever I becomes 5, 5 mod 5, what is 5 mod 5? That is 0. 0 not equal to 0, condition is false. So this statement will not be executed, but this statement will be executed. And for numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, all these numbers, this condition becomes true. So control will go to the next iteration. Right? So both these two, break and continue, prima facie, very confusing, but these are very useful while writing codes in C language or even C++ or Java. All these break and continue are there, right? One more part of loop is nesting of loops. One loop inside another loop. One loop inside another loop. So if I write for I is equal to 1, I less than or equal to 3, I plus plus, for j is equal to 1, j less than or equal to 3, j plus plus, I let here printf %d /n I comma j. Right? We need to understand this again. All three parts today. I know that all these three parts are difficult, and that's why intentionally I kept it on first day of the week. If this program is executed, it will print some numbers in this way. Let's let's see how these numbers are executed. I is equal to 1, condition is true, goes inside. J is equal to 1, j less than or equal to 3, condition is true, goes inside. Printf, value of I and j, that is a 1 and 1, right? Now the control will go outside the for loop. Okay, but since j is still the condition is true, j is going to be incremented, so j will become 2. Condition is true, so it will go inside. That's why value of I, that is 1, and new value of j, that is 2. So uh, that is printed, right? It will print 1 and 2, right? Now how many times this loop will be first of all executed? So this loop will be executed 9 times, right? I is equal to 1. Okay. So I is 1, j is 1, 1 and 1 are printed. But this is called a nesting of loop. One each loop inside another loop. So this loop will be executed 3 times, and for each of these I. So I is having values from I is going to take values from 1 to 3. So these 3 into 3, the whole this one printf statement is going to be executed 9 times. For each of the this one single iteration, this loop inside internal loop will be executed 3 times. So that many times, 3 into 3, 9 times it will be executed. So first output was 1 and 1. Second output was value of I is 1, value of j is 2, value of I is 1, value of j is 3. Now when 1 and 3 are printed, again control goes to this statement, this part of the loop, that is incremented. J becomes 4, condition is tested, condition is false, so control goes outside the inner loop, right? Then but still it is inside the control is still inside the outer loop. So now I becomes 2, right? Again control goes inside, again the value of j becomes 1. So here again condition of value of j will be tested along with 3. The one is less than or equal to 3. So control goes inside inner for loop, where value of I now is 2, right? Value of I is 2, and again three values will be taken. So it will be 2 1 2 2 2 3. Okay, so it is 2 2 2 1 2 2 2 3. When value of again j becomes 4, condition becomes false, so it leaves the inner loop, but still it is inside the outer loop. So now value of I will become 3. Whether condition is true, so it goes inside, again value of j will be 1. So it will be executed for j is equal to 1 2 3. So that's why output is 3 1 3 2 and 3 3, right? So this is how the nesting of loop is done. Nested loop are usually for loops, but many sometimes, okay, there might be a for loop inside a while loop, okay, or a while loop inside for loop, depending upon uh, the user's choice. There is no rule. Usually, unnecessarily loops are not mixed. So usually for loop is there, then nesting is done using the for loop. One good application for this I will show you is, suppose I want to write numbers from multiplication number of 1 to 10, right? Right here, declare one more variable, suppose int k. If I write k is equal to I into j, right? If I write printf percent 4d and k, if I execute this program, uh, one slash n is written, you find the answer for that. Okay, so So it prints multiplication of tables of 1 to 10. How it is executed? When I is equal to 1, j is equal to 1, 1 into 1, that is 1. So 1 is printed. Again, value of j will become 2. Condition is true. 1 into 2, that is 2. Likewise, it will print numbers from 1 to 10. Right? When value of j becomes 11, condition is false. The control will loop goes outside the inner loop. Then it will print the slash n. So slash n new line character is entered here. So control goes to here. Output goes to the next line. Then value of I becomes 2. 2 is less than or equal to 10. Condition is true. Goes again inside. Value of j is 1. Condition is true. Now here value of I is 2 and j is 1. So it will take again all values from I is equal to 2, j is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it goes on printing 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 like this, right? So at the end, when value of I becomes 11, the complete program will be executed and control goes outside the outer loop. This is how the multiplication of table of numbers 1 to 10 is printed. Okay. Suppose you need to play along with this, right? If I write for I is equal to 1, I less than or equal to 5, I plus plus, right? If I write for j is equal to, suppose, anything, 2, suppose j is I, suppose j is equal to I, j is less than or equal to 5, j plus plus. In the future you are going to write this kind of programs, okay, for practice, not now. I'm just showing you, that's it. It is called a pattern programming in C. That is done in Java as well, in C++ as well. So various patterns are can be drawn using this kind of code. So it prints pattern like this, right? Uh, these are just to understand how loops are executed or how nesting of loop works. Prima facie, this is very difficult. Prima facie, so you may find, oh my god, how to write this or how to understand this. But you have to take the program and manually do all these things. Okay, the value of I, value of j, where the value of j is becoming false, where the value of I is becoming false, where internal loop is executed and how many times, where uh, internal loop is getting no control is getting outside the internal loop and again coming inside the loop, so likewise. Okay, so it's a very interesting part of nesting of loops. Today we will stop here. As far as loops parts are concerned, um, that was everything inside the this chapter. uh, while loop, for loop, do while loop, break statement, continuous statement, nesting of loops, increment operator, that is a unary increment operator, unary decrement operator. This was a part of whole third chapter in our curriculum. Um, Start my accessing those videos, animated videos, and try to write couple of programs. Tomorrow we will write 3 programs. Tomorrow I will not explain any concept, but I will write tomorrow 3 programs which will cover, which will cover. I mean, today's were small examples, snippets, right, to understand the basics. Tomorrow we write three programs exclusively on loops so that all three loops, uh, break, continue, increment operator, decrement operator, and nesting. Everything will be covered tomorrow, right? So we'll meet again tomorrow, 11 o'clock.